Household. I like this a lot. You accomplished so much in the short period of time that you had for the length of this film. Really nice lighting for the tone. I thought the darker tone, it looked like it could be kind of a romantic setting as well. So I wasn't really quite sure where this was going to go in the beginning. So great job with the tone. Great up close shots of the cooking and all the details. It just gives it a more meaty feeling, I think, with all the little details. I thought it was just a funny take on clashing with a roommate or an ex who now is still your roommate, or somebody who owns the place, and you're the roommate. So, and how at the end he's like, I don't share, like maybe a specific type of roommate that people have had. I don't know who, if there was a specific inspiration for this, but I think you could kind of relate to it if you've ever had a roommate you don't get along with, or you feel like you have to hide from, or that person's like completely hiding and doesn't want to be social and kind of controls everything. But the fact that he's like feeding him like a monster, an animal, that was funny, or a prisoner. Like, it's almost like it felt like it should be the other way around, almost like that person's the prisoner. But either way, it felt like they were both prisoners, and that murdering this person was like always a fantasy, and it actually ended up happening. And I love the end. You want to come over? So really funny. I like that there wasn't any music, I think, throughout the whole thing, and not much dialogue. You guys did a great job. Great acting, great writing, editing, all of that. Cast, um, and all the camera work, just beautiful. Good cinematography. So I enjoyed it all the way around. Great job.
Household is quite the intense ride. I really like the allegory that's playing off in this piece about being, fully out and fully yourself, and being able to, of course, engage in relationships, be they, fully committing to dating or hooking up or first dates or whatever they may be, but being able to do so without a sense of guilt or trepidation, or hesitation. And I think that's a lot of what's being explored here, and uses kind of classic horror tropes, these secret monsters that whisper in dark corners, to engage in that conversation with us. And I think it does it so well. The acting, especially from the central protagonist, is so well done. It's not overwrought. My favorite moment is absolutely him at the table when he lets out his hand and then it's clutched. I just think it's so beautiful and touching and heartbreaking and terrifying all at once.
Household. Wow. The cinematography on this was so amazing. I loved how the director of photography and the filmmakers used depth of field. It added so many layers into what the storyline was. And the way the filmmakers did the story was great. They created this mystery and suspense, and the actors were fantastic. I mean, absolutely fantastic. It helped, they helped sell this story, which was really, really gripping, and it kept you engaged throughout the entire thing. And I loved the fact that we never, ever see the other person. We hear him. The filmmakers painted that picture and kind of kept you wanting to see them. That, I think, was absolutely ingenious. The other thing that I loved how they did this was the FaceTiming. I loved the lighting in that, how they captured it. Everything was so crystal clear. I don't know if they did that in camera or if it was done in post. However they did it, don't change a dang thing, because it was awesome. This whole film was so awesome. So great job.
in the film Household, we get a sense that something is just not exactly right. Is there actually someone in the house with him? Is this a sense of paranoia? Is he falling into psychosis and having a sense of schizophrenia and seeing people that aren't actually there? These are questions that we ask ourselves as we see our main character make about movements in his house. Now, things get a little bit interesting because a love interest has shown that he wants to take an effort and take an interest in our leading man. But however, there's this sense of, I can't be caught doing what I'm doing. There's a sense of secrecy that our lead character is holding, making even us suspicious of his character. And when we find that, is there a monster that he has to get rid of? Are these his inner demons, maybe, that we have to see him overcome? And as he quite literally beats these ideas into a bloody pulp, it finally gives him the courage to take initiative, to take that step, to go after and lean in on the love that's being portrayed and asked to be requited on.